Hey now, welcome to another edition of Refreshing Thoughts. I am your host, Chris Fresh, and we are here, me, the royal we. I'm here to talk toys and stuff that sort of comes to mind. And a bit of a topic that sort of surprised me on the last Refreshing Thoughts has been getting discussed, and I wanted to sort of address it. And we're going to talk about this. Todd McFarlane's Superman from the new Superman movie that I'm very much looking forward to. I am a true believer that DC will one day well as again in the cinema, and I have belief in James Gunn and hope this movie will be good. But Julian James, who is from the Shine Worldwide and provides his band provides the awesome intro music to this, Heads Are Gonna Roll. Go check out the Shine Worldwide on all your favorite music streaming services. He told me these figures were out, and he got himself a Lex and a Superman. I don't know if he's gotten anything else. And I popped down to the local JB Hi-Fi and thought, I'll go check this out. And look at this packaging. Look at this figure. Really good stuff by Todd. Todd's apparently losing the license or part of the license, and he's really getting out as much as he can. And I'm looking at this. You've got Crypto in there. You've got Superman. What's it say? Deluxe theatrical edition. Like, that's a shelfer. Like you could get a basic Superman or something and put on display loose. I like displaying loose, as you can see. There's a lot of loose stuff back there. My Switchblade says Switchblade, unlike the loyal subjects, but we'll get to that at a later date. But yeah, beautiful. But something caught my eye, and it's something that I've never liked about in-package items. And you know what it is? Maybe it's caught your eyes. The creepy faces of Doom up there, and the two hands prominently displayed in the packaging. I'm not a fan. And on the Geek Dad Life Discord, I brought up that I'm not a fan. On Toy Power, on their Discord, I brought up that I'm not a fan. Now, Trent, who you recently saw on Lego Masters Australia, he did awesome. He should have won. He sort of agreed with me about this, but on the Geek Dad Live thing, it was universal. I was shut down of that shows added value. I like that I can see what I'm getting. The stuff hasn't been stolen from the packaging, so I'm confident in what I've got and stuff. And it got me thinking of, am I the crazy one here? Have I got this wrong? But to me, when I'm displaying this, right, they have made beautiful packaging. Look at that. Look at that. Like, this looks cool. But then I've got just these weird three faces, like they're I can't think what they were called in Game of Thrones, where you could just get a face and stick it on. And like these weird hands. Like, why can't you mention somewhere, perhaps on the back of the packaging or on the side, that they're included? Now, I understand the fear of what if they've been stolen, right? But isn't that the case with many of our collectibles that we keep in packet? Like, we're assuming it's not broken and we just can't see it. We're assuming nothing's been stolen. I guess blister carding could help prevent that. See, these come in boxes that are openable, and they're made to reseal, I guess. But I can't really pop them out and reseal it and display. It will look weird. There's divots in the bubble. But as you can see, currently he's got a weird jerking off hand or a choking hand, not very Superman, and a fist. I would think if you're going to display a Superman, flying hand and a fist is probably the way to go. And the rest could be kept in there. But to me, and I'm not a massive, I say let the figures be free for the most part. But on something like this, just say this movie is as good as I hope it is, and I don't want this to blend in with a million other figures that I've got. This, like, when you do something like this, I want to stand out. And I find that weird. Like, don't you find that just odd? Like, it's bad enough when it's heads and stuff like their face plates, like, which is even wider. And he's got his hands out like he's getting a manicure. Um, like I don't know. Like, I think that's a pretty good figure. I think the packaging's good. I just don't like this. Like, am I the crazy one? Like, where do you stand on this? I I it's personally, it's not for me. Like, I don't mind. We'll talk about this, but I don't mind if it's displaying like a weapon and a shield and everything, and the mini comic you can sort of see there. But why don't we just bundle the extra hands and like down the bottom? Because I just don't think this display is nice. Like, I'm going to be opening this because I can't have this. Like, this is weirding me out. Like, no, thank you. But yeah, apparently I'm in the minority on this. So if you're a mint and box collector, does this bother you? One of the big examples was I got the Batman animated Christmas Joker, from the animated series. And he came with a Hercules builder figure part. And I had to open it because it was this giant leg or arm or something that was in the packet prominently on display. Like, and I understand it's trying to convey the added value. And if you buy all these figures, you can put this together. But surely, as they market towards an older collector, they know we want to have a nice looking display and they're making beautiful product. They go to a lot of trouble, or some do, of sculpt and paint apps and everything like that. And, you want it to look pretty. I unfortunately don't like this at all. I'm going to open it. Or maybe I should keep it in packet in case I hate the movie. And no, look, it's a nice Superman in crypto, even if the movie's not what I hope. I won't mind having a representation of it. But yeah, I'm not sold on this, and I was surprised that so many people were. And yeah, I'm curious on where you land on this. You can follow me on YouTube. I know a lot of you are listening on audio, but you can sound off at Refreshing Thoughts Pod on our like I'm a corporation. My Instagram, facebook.com/refreshing thoughts pod on Facebook. And yeah, even if you're an audio listener, you've got to do me a favor. Please subscribe to me on YouTube and click like on the videos. It helps the channel grow, and it would help me. Like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Don't tell YouTube that after that you're just going to go listen to me. But although views would help, I understand YouTube Premium can be really expensive. Trust me, I just got the new price hike that they're putting on. But once you don't have ads, you'll never go back. But I do understand all the ads interrupting this would be annoying. And if you're listening in audio format, you don't suffer from such things. But yeah, dying to know what you think. I was really surprised at the response because to me it sort of ruins the displayability. But you saw me display Shira from the cartoon collection. They've started to turn up in Kmart in Australia, which is really cool, and they're $19. Unlike Big W, where they're 26. Now, I've been saying with Master of Universe, $19 feels like the sweet spot. So it's weird that Big W have them for 26, yet Kmart's got them for 19, yet Big W seem to have more, so their buying power there seems bigger. I'm not quite sure why the price difference, but I got Orko, and he's got Uncle Mortalk, Motalk. Is it going to be on there? Face that you can display there. Now he looks smaller than the Origins Orko, and I love the packaging. If you know me, I love the Horde. So it does say something there. Includes comic. Also, I've talked about the comic. I don't like that we get the non-worded version. I think everybody around the world could accept an English version of the comic. but yeah, I think this was a really cool figure. And the other one I got was Grislaw. So the other one I'm chasing at the moment is Leech. I have not found Leech because I'm big on the Horde. But how cool is this packaging? You got Hordak at the background, way better than the Snake Men. Um, like way better than the Snake Men. But yeah, it's a non-flocked Grislaw. You know, the old one was a Buzzball. I believe there was one that went up on Mattel Creations that was Blink and You Miss It. I never got it in the Origin series. But yeah, there's something about cartoon collection that I like. I don't know why I'm getting it when I have the classics versions, but they didn't do. I'm looking at it now, so I apologize. Me looking over to my collection, like there's no Ram Man and stuff. Like that's a pretty big miss not to have in a filmation line to me. But yeah, that's a packaging there. I probably will open them. Let's take another look at Shira. The other two I got at Big W, so you know I paid the extra, but Shira I was able to get at Kmart. I was considering giving it to Paul Jones because I owe him a birthday present, and then I kind of like her, and I think I'm going to keep her. So sorry, Jonestown. He doesn't watch or listen to this, so it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, are you collecting the master stuff? Like, does it grab you? Like, I have noticed Kmart has really started to broaden their toy horizons. They've got more Transformers. You've got the Masters of the Universe. WWE has turned up at Kmart now, and which is really good to see because it felt like for a while there that the toy sections were being given up on a little bit. You know, it was pretty much only Big W. Oh, drink my it's Pepsi Max, don't worry. It felt like they were giving up on toys. So to see these things uh, showing up at places like Kmart, thanks BJD, I, you know, it's really good to see. And, you know, I hope like I guess Kmart, Big W, like nobody really goes to Myer anymore. Like I don't know what other big retailers would you want to see toys in. You know, supermarkets like Woolworths and Coles have very limited selections. It doesn't feel like they'd ever give shelf space. Although at one point they used to get decent toys. Like I can remember getting the early 2000s Ninja Turtles and even some mid WWE Jakks figures and stuff from Coles. You know, when I was a young kid, I got my real Ghostbusters and my Police Academy figures and my mask toys from Woolworths or Safeway, as it was known here in Victoria back then. And before you go, hang on, money bags, look at you. They were on deep discount, and the mask toys that I got from there were just for twin packs of the figures. But I did get something from there once because it was on clearance and or on special, as we say here in Australia. And I wish I'd have it now because apparently it's worth a lot of money. I had the Laser Command set from Mask where it came with like the wooden box that folded out and the blue vehicle that shot a laser. This is all going from memory, really. I didn't realize it was rare till Toy Geeks did their Mask episode, and I started looking. I was like, oh wow! Like, I guess it was late in the line, and it was worth a lot of money. But you're not thinking of that when you're a kid. I was on Geek Dad Life. There was a can't think who the guest was. I apologize. These names escaping me, and I don't want to stare at my phone to find out who it was. But I loved that he said, if you want to invest in something, go buy stocks. Toys are for enjoyment. And I feel that way too. And it really resonated with me. It really makes me go listen to Geek Dad Life. It's a great toy channel. And then you'll find out who said that, but I believe he works with Dan Larson. Oh, what the hell? Let me have a look. Who was on Geek Dad Life for that episode? I feel like I'm doing him a disservice by not giving him credit for such a great line. And now it's not going to pop up on here, and that's gonna drive me crazy. I'm sure it was Geek Dad Life that I heard about it. Yeah, it was. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I can't start playing it. Jay Glatfelder will he'll give me a copyright sock. Mike. No, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Kaese. Mike Case, would you say? Yeah, he said that line, and I don't know. Sorry about that. I went on I get distracted. But it really resonated with me that toys are there for enjoyment, and there's other ways to invest if that's what you want to do. I feel chasing the value of a toy, for me personally, takes out the fun and the toy's very nature, and I feel when companies make things really hard to get or chase, it takes the soul out of the toy. That might sound weird, but that's just how it feels to me. But another thing I sort of wanted to touch on was pre-ordering. I've talked about the toughness of that was my daughter going, Dad, please come pick me up from school early. Dad life, geek dad life. But yeah, I was saying like the pre-order method, Mondo, love Mondo. They do amazing products, but it's a lot to ask. We have 3 Ghostbusters in a whole, close to $400 a set Australian each. So that's $1,200 now for 3 Ghostbusters. They haven't delivered one yet, even though I know it's going to be amazing. It gets pretty hard. And I don't want to neg them because I love that they make this product available to us, but there's a risk involved in pre-ordering retro wrestling figures. And Wrestling Store Australia do amazing deals. They bring out amazing products. I'm grateful for them. To be honest, I couldn't get this stuff without them. But it sort of sucks when you spend a lot of money with them and then it immediately goes on sale. And the Public Enemy went up, like dropped $30-$40 in price right after I got them. And Mikey J, who I'm friends with, work with in wrestling, he straight away said, I'm never pre-ordering again. And our discussion became, yeah, it's a bit rough in the pre-ordering game. But I did get this box. As you can see, how cool they sent in the zombie Heels and Faces shipper box. Now, I didn't get the figure that's in there. I got a version of that figure. But how much attention to detail has Zombie put even on a shipping box? It's amazing. But let's open the box and see if my Jones threatener, see if my order's correct. But let me show you what I got. I got some Heels and Faces. I got Tajiri. Some know him from WWE. I know him from both that and ECW. But look at that. Like Zombie does amazing stuff. But I'm glad I waited because these were an amazing price. Oh, a bit of heft in this figure. Abdullah the Butcher. Bloody there. Fork on display. I don't mind that being on display. I just don't want hands and faces. Really cool attention to detail. Now, this figure I love. I'd like to get the ECW title to put around his waist, but Mike Awesome. I'm a big fan of Mike Awesome. We've really captured the mullet. I can tell you a crazy Mike Awesome story about Stacey Keeble's 21st birthday at Heat Nightclub, but I won't do that on this show. There you get to see some figures that aren't out yet, but really cool. And then I got the Nature Boy. Woo! The bloodied version. This is how he looked at the end of WrestleMania 8, I believe, after his match with Randy Savage, because I don't think he was bleeding in the Royal Rumble. But yeah, look at that. They're so much better than the Hasbro Ric Flair. Like, he is doing amazing stuff. And I got them for a great price. But I forgot to get Bad News Brown, which is really annoying because he's probably shot back up in price, and I wouldn't have got the free shipping because you got to spend over $99. But even stuff on pre-order got dropped in price, and it happens frequently. And you don't want to miss out. You want to support, so you want to pre-order, but then you kind of feel burned when that occurs so often. So it's a tricky one. Like my instincts to tell you if this stuff comes out, just wait and you gamble. And if you end up paying extra, pay extra. But chances are, with all the savings that you made, even if you pay extra on one, you've saved plenty on others. Yeah, it's tough with this stuff when you see it drop in price like that. Have you had a area where you felt you've been burnt in pre-orders? Do you pre-order your toys? Are you against pre-ordering? Like, would you rather wait? A lot of people like the Major Wrestling Figure podcast that say the pre-order is the order. Same as the Ghostbusters with the ghosts, I believe there's some other products where if you don't do the pre-order, you don't get it, but almost like they're made to order. And that's a lot of pressure too. But I guess that's just modern collecting, isn't it? Like that's where we're at the moment. And I don't know that I love it. Yeah, I don't know that it sits well with me, but I also understand that these companies with the ever-changing world with tariffs and importing and dollar values and stuff, they don't know where they're sitting, But we've seen with a company called Powertown, they're up to their people are up to their eyeballs in very expensive pre-orders, and people were asking where the product was. And I love the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, but some images got released and they were going through the images today. I'm a subscriber to their show and I was watching them go through the images and they're going, yeah, looks good, looks good, looks good. And I'm like, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Because if you compare the renders to what Powertown was showing, it was disgraceful. Like their Remco style figures look fantastic, but I won't, they're legends and their, TNA figures look like hot garbage compared to the renders. They just do, and a lot of fans are saying that. And if you've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on something, because their original product was amazing, but what they're showing, like they've got to get back to work. It's like you've already waited this whole time. That's why I get nervous for people. I know Mondo are going to deliver the Ghostbusters, and I know they're going to be amazing. I'm not worried about that. But some of these smaller companies doing retro wrestling figures and stuff like that, it's a risk. It's a risk to invest a lot into a pre-order. And I don't know what the solution is. Maybe you miss out, because toys shouldn't be an investment, but they also shouldn't be a gamble. You should get what you pay for and it should be delivered. These aren't Kickstarters, but they get treated like it a little bit. Now, if a company builds a good reputation, like the big rubber guys with the Major Wrestler or Collect Major, they deliver every single time. So if you have to wait a little bit, it's worth waiting. Like I showed the Legion of Doom, they're always amazing. But a company like Powertown delivered something amazing, then nothing, and bad communication. And then you show these things and they look nothing like their renders. It's like, buzz your girlfriend, woof, and that's a real problem. Haslam, a back Decto one last year, was meant to be out in July. It's not going to be out till at least the end of the year, early next year. And I understand the world's changing, but how about shooting me an email, just letting me know? I just think communication's also important. Stuff gets delayed. Shit happens. They're just toys. There's more important things in the world. But to some people, toys are their happiness. To some people, maybe it was their last bit of funny money that they had that they spent on these toys because they were told the only way you can get them is to pre-order. I mean, you don't communicate with them. and then you deliver them sometimes a year or two late. I just think it's a little rough. And then you tell people pre-order now or you're never going to get it. And then it goes on deep discount. And it seems like they're in large quantities. And that kind of sucks too, because which one is it? I guess it's a two-way street. You know, respect those that respect you, that want to invest in you and support your product. Because collectors can be demanding, they can be needy, but they're your biggest cheerleaders too, you know. And I appreciate this luxury of collecting toys, you know, but I also hope you appreciate the fact I'm giving you my hard-earned money, you know, and that doesn't get forgotten. And that these other people, you know, are doing the same thing. But I know it's hard when you're hearing these overly needy, angry voices at you. But it's also there's a whole heap of people that aren't saying a lot, that are just a bit bummed that they didn't get their stuff. And maybe a little bit of communication would go a long way. And maybe don't suck people into pressure to pre-order when you can over deliver and the stuff's going to end up on deep discount, because that sort of sucks too. But on a more positive note, San Diego Comic Con's around the corner. We're going to get a lot of cool announcements. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of cool stuff. Tariffs be damned. Show us some cool toys. It's what we want to see. Hopefully, some of those exclusives like the Ecto Glows and stuff are made available to Australia. I thought I was going to march into Comic Con and was told, you idiot, you had to get the tickets back in the day. There's a lottery to get in. You're never getting in, so I guess I'm never getting in. So I'm not getting them that way. I didn't know. I just thought you could go. Apparently you can't. But I think I'll wrap it up there because my daughter Steph's going to be going, Dad, where are you? You can find my other podcast at Geek Dudes. At Hey, it's the podcast. August 22nd. Oh, I'll get in trouble if I don't promote this. August 2nd at Essendon, Renegades of Wrestling. August 22nd at the Corner Hotel. I'm going to put the kilt back on and I will be doing Wrestle Rock once again with my good friends Julie and James. And if you have a few dollars to spare, for $5 a month Australian, you can support the podcast, Geek Dudes. Hey, it's the podcast, Refreshing Thoughts, at patreon.com/C/Refreshing Thoughts podcast /membership. It goes towards hosting the show and everything like that. I know everybody's stretched a bit thin, but if you have a few dollars to kick my way, I would greatly appreciate it. And so would the Jonesy and Dirty Uncle Mitch. Thank you for checking out the show, both on audio and video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really would help. On YouTube, like and subscribe. Thank you for checking out the audio version if you're listening to me on the way to work. And sorry there was a bit of a gap. Life happens, but we pumped out a Hey, it's a podcast and a Geek Dudes, and I'm going to be in contact with you, maybe even from some remote locations over the next couple of weeks. And I'll speak to you in a little